For today's card, I'm going to be using several items from the Whimsy Stamps product line. And last year when I was making, I fell in love with the Fill a Harvest Truck clear stamp set. Just thought it was so much fun to just find all kinds of things that are Halloween related to fill the truck with, other than what's already provided, which are wonderful things as well. There's a turkey, apples, some hearts, things like that. Those are all great. But I just felt like I wanted to do something more Halloween-like. And so I had quite a few ideas drawn up, and this is one of them that I didn't get to last year. So I really hope this works out. I know you've already seen it, but I really hope it works out. So I think these Kooky monsters from Whimsy are just so adorable. I mean, look at their little faces. They're so cute. They're not scary at all. And I thought it would be really fun to try and fit these 3 fairly large monsters into this little truck, because monsters are supposed to be big. And so I thought it would be fun to have them kind of fitting in there, you know, in various ways and kind of spilling out of the truck. But you know, to be maybe be on their way to a Halloween party or to scare some people or whatever. So I'm going to be pairing these with the truck. And then for the sentiment, I thought I might use the Boho alphabet. And since you can stamp these words and then cut the letters apart, make your own words, I thought these might make for a fun sentiment across the bottom that says Boo Crew. And so there are letters to do all of that, because not only with the words that are listed here, they have given you additional letters here that maybe weren't in any of these words, so that you can make some of your own. I'm not going to make my own background. I think I'm going to use one of the really cute backgrounds from the Haunted Graveyards. So these are just kind of whimsical, and I know that's kind of strange to say about graveyards, but they're just kind of, I know I said this last year about this paper line, but these are very Scooby-Doo-ish to me, and I always enjoyed Scooby-Doo on Saturday mornings, and it wasn't scary to me. So I think that these are just really fun, kind of scary, cartoonish backgrounds that I think, like especially this one, would work great for these Kooky monsters. And then to make it even more fun and, you know, give it just that feeling of you know, Halloween party type thing, I'm going to cut out some pennants from the Slimline Bunting die set and just run some bunting across the top, just to add a little bit more of just a fun type thing instead of scary. So it'll be like a fun Halloween feeling. Now, this is this year's drawing of my card from last year. So I took the drawing and then I added to it some things that I wanted to use. And so let's see how this works out today. So I have a lot of coloring and cutting to do. So I'm inviting you along, and let's start making. I have the truck stamped, and I stamped it twice just because I'm going to be cutting out the boards on the back. And so I need a second set of those. And then I stamped the 3 monsters. And so I'm going to be coloring these in with distress ink. And the way that I do that is I just pick a color that I want. I squish it on my work surface here. I will pick it up with my water brush, and then I'll just go in and color until I'm done. So I'll do some fast forward coloring a little bit with my distress ink so you can see how I do it. But I won't do it for too long, because I know that can get boring. And then I'll start fussy cutting, which again, you don't need to watch me do. And I am going to be fussy cutting on the black line. I won't be cutting any white around it, because they're going to go in the truck, and I want them to look like they're actual monsters in the truck. So, well, I had it all lined up. I put all the colors out here, and I don't know what happened. It didn't record. Anyway, I watercolored these with Wilted Violet. I did not end up using seedless preserves, even though I had it out here. So Wilted Violet, Twisted Citron, The blue is Salty Ocean, the orange, Carved Pumpkin, and the bits of yellow are Mustard Seed. I'm going to do a little shading, so I put a little Mowed Lawn, Stormy Sky, and Ripe Persimmon out, and I'm just going to spray a little water on them. And then you can see that they bead a little bit of beading on there. And then I'll go ahead and pick it up, and I'm going to lightly kind of go over in some places just to add a little shadow. I hope I don't mess it up. See, I got everything fussy cut, and so here's the truck. I have the 3 monsters. I trimmed off the bottom of this one, and I may be trimming off the bottom of this one, but I cut up where the arm was so that he could kind of hang over like that. Then you don't really notice, you know, if that I cut his foot off that was there. So then I cut the back of the other truck, and now I'm kind of trying to figure out what background I want to use. I was gonna try and fit all 3 of these in, and they aren't fitting, which is fine. But you can see why I may want to cut off part of this guy just so that you can still see some of the truck. Then I'm gonna have this guy standing outside like that, and then it's gonna say the Boo Crew or Here Comes the Boo Crew or something like that, and then I'll have the kind of the little Halloween party garlands, pennants, whatever, hanging. And so I'm thinking I'm going to go with this background. I did try a couple of others I will show you. Thought that one was kind of fun too. Yeah. There's that one. This one could work, but again, just felt like this one, I don't know, didn't really jump out at me. Then one more from the, and these are from the Haunted paper pack and the Haunted Graveyards paper pack. And so far, most of the ones, except for this one, are from the Haunted Graveyards. So you kind of move it over this way, but it's just kind of weird that it's driving through the middle of the graveyard. I don't know, maybe it's not. Anyway, those are the ones I'm auditioning. I haven't quite decided yet, but it is very late at night, so I am going to go to bed and revisit this after work tomorrow. When I returned to the project the next day, I colored some distress watercolor cardstock with Carved Pumpkin Distress Stain, another one with Twisted Citron and Mowed Lawn Distress Spray Stain, and a third one with some Salty Ocean Distress Spray Stain. And then when I dried it, I cut those and a piece of distressed heavy stock in black out of the Bunting Slimline dies. And then I trimmed the little pieces off and put them onto the black piece to use on the card. Then I took the Boho alphabet and I stamped out the Boo Crew. I had to cut out all the letters that I needed from the various words and laid those across the bottom. And then it was time to start assembling. So I did trim the bottom of the purple monster just a tiny bit and then attached them to the back of the truck. I decided I wanted the green monster popped up a little bit, so I did add some foam dots to the back and then began attaching the Boo Crew title to the front at the bottom. I didn't attach the monsters yet and started some messy stitching on my card front. As you can see, I chose the card front from the Haunted paper pack that had the big moon and the bats. And I began by stitching a fairly straight stitch just around the outside. And then for the second and third rounds, as I went around it, I did wiggle the paper a little bit to do a little bit of the messy stitching that I like to do on my Halloween cards. And then you'll see as soon as I finish with the kind of wiggly outside, I switched my stitch to a zigzag stitch and I did some back and forth zigzag stitching on several places on the front, right over the straight stitching, just to add a little bit of that Halloween messy stitching I like to do. I think it just adds some fun texture. Card front then needed a mat, and so I went around the outside of a piece of watercolor paper with some carved pumpkin distress ink and around the outside edge of everything with some black soot. Then I began to attach all of the pieces to the front of the card. So I attached the truck and then I had those pop dots. And just to be sure that the monster didn't come off, I added just a little bit of collage medium onto the foam. And next I added the bunting to finish the card off. And that was it for this really fun Boo Crew Monster Party truck card. So I want to thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions about anything, you know what to do. Contact me either in the comments here or through my blog at playswellwithpaper.blogspot.com.